Sometimes in video games you encounter a villain you can't wait to kill. They're usually a terrible individual who's done terrible things, and you can't wait for the satisfaction of snuffing them out for good. But alas, sometimes you don't get that opportunity. On many occasions we've encountered games where you don't get to face off against the villain in the final boss battle. Rather, you defeat them through other means. Or don't even defeat them at all. So today we're examining a selection of those with our list of the top 10 video game baddies that weren't the final boss. Number 10. Harry Flynn from Uncharted 2. Harry Flynn is an English treasure hunter and one-time associate of Nathan Drake and Chloe Frazier's. While he is technically the secondary antagonist of the game, working for main baddie Zoran, he does double-cross Nathan and leaves him for dead, making you despise him that much more. Despite really wanting to take him down, you never actually get the chance to. Flynn ends up ending his own life with a suicidal grenade attack, once again being a nuisance, even in death. And at number 9, Giovanni from Pokemon Red and Blue. While arguably you could say that your rival, or Gary if you prefer, should be considered the main antagonist of Pokemon Red and Blue and technically Yellow, sure, I mean that's accurate. But for the sake of this list, he is by no means a baddie. He's a rival, not a villain, guys. But the series does have a villain in the form of Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket and the gym leader of Viridian City, the final gym you enter before hitting up the Indigo Plateau in the Elite Four, and eventually facing Gary. So while the character is definitely nefarious and towards the end of the game, but you do face him multiple times, he's not the final boss, which is probably for the best. And at number 8, the Panther King conquers Bad Fur Day. This 2001 game starts off with you trying to get back home to your girlfriend Barry after a night of binge drinking. It then explodes into a giant pop culture reference and sets you up to take on an antagonist who wants to turn you into a table leg, called the Panther King. Right before you think you're going to take on the Panther King, a xenomorph jumps out of his chest, very similar to the ones from the Alien franchise, because it's a parody. This is the result of the Panther King's scientists screwing around behind the scenes, and of course it instantly kills him. So instead of the foe that you've been gearing up to battle, you now have to ensure that this horrific creature named Heinrich doesn't slaughter everybody in a battle that looks and feels a little too similar to aspects of the Alien films. And at number 7, Dr. Loboto from Psychonauts. Loboto is an insane shower cap wearing dentist who is trying to steal you and your fellow campers' brains at the Whispering Rock Psychic Summer Camp. Not cool. By the time you reach his lab at the end of the game to free your friends, rather than taking on the deranged dentist yourself, you end up solving a few puzzles that activates a laser which launches Loboto out of his tower. A little anticlimactic, isn't it? And at number 6, the Elusive Man from Mass Effect 3. The Elusive Man is a threat of a different kind. He's always lurking in the shadows, manipulating through Cerberus and his network of contacts in order to make humanity ascend above all other races. Definitely bad intentions. Eventually, your Commander Shepard comes face to face with him in a final confrontation, which, rather than a battle of brawn or physical skill, becomes a poorly waged war of words. Regardless of what you respond with, the outcome is the same. The Elusive Man dies, with you killing him or him killing himself. To be fair, considering the overall reception of Mass Effect 3, the way this confrontation pans out shouldn't be much of a surprise. To some, the whole game is considered a disappointment. And at number 5, Songbird from Bioshock Infinite. In Bioshock Infinite, the true villain of the game is Comstock, the white nationalist dictator of a floating city in the sky who locked up his daughter Elizabeth from another reality who turns out just to be another version of you, protagonist Booger. Spoilers, sorry. But all throughout the game, you're anticipating a final boss battle with this giant mechanical songbird of his, Songbird, who acted as a guardian of Elizabeth's, and occasionally pops up hunting her and you down. By the end of the game though, Songbird ends up becoming an ally of yours instead, aiding you in the final showdown on an airship, which I guess is pretty cool. I like Songbird. And at number 4, Sullivan Noth from Outlast 2. Horror survival Outlast 2 places you in the midst of a psychotic religious cult, trying to find your missing wife and escape. Sullivan Noth, the reverend and leader of the church dubbed the Testament of New Ezekiel, has recorded all of his messages from God in a book titled The Gospel of Noth. He's also convinced that your wife Lynn is pregnant with the Antichrist. Also, he has syphilis, which he spread throughout by spreading his seed to women in the community, banishing those who are infected to a separate encampment while he just takes penicillin in secret. Yeah, dude is f***ed up. By the end of the game, your wife dies in childbirth, and Noth, failing to kill the child before it was born, has mass murdered all of his followers in the cult. He then encounters you, where he says he's failed, and just slits his own throat. Prior to that, the final boss you face is Marta, who has been chasing you throughout the game and is kind of more terrifying than Noth, so. Up next, number 3, Voss from Far Cry 3. Voss is one of the most compelling villains that the Far Cry franchise has seen. Not only is he completely unhinged, he nearly kills you multiple times, let alone kidnaps your friends and kills your brother. Ugh, Spoilers again, I'm really sorry. But he also gave life to the game's story, which is a shame considering his departure in the game was so lackluster, especially since you don't even really fight him. Voss ends up dead after a trippy dream sequence where you stab the character, long before the game's end. In our number 2 spot, the Joker from Arkham City. While we did get a final boss battle against the Joker in Arkham Asylum, although the jacked up version of him didn't really bode well with a lot of fans, people still expected to face off against the Joker in the finale of Arkham City. Now for context, the Titan formula from the previous game has now begun to mutate inside of the Joker, giving him a fatal disease that he then gives to Batman in hopes of having the Caped Crusader figure out a cure, or die with him, because he's all tragic like that. When you get to the end of the game, you end up fighting Clayface, who has been working for the Joker and masquerading as a healthy version of him all along. And then we get a much more dramatic ending with the Joker in the following cinematic cutscene, where the character succumbs to his disease. Batman then carries him out of Arkham City in a cinematic sequence that leaves you with chills, ending the game. It's also worth noting that there's a whole Protocol 10 plot with Hugo Strange too, but like, the Joker always kinda takes precedence from Batman when it comes to villains, doesn't he? And finally, in at number 1, Frau Engel from Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Frau is a villain that is easy to hate. Carrying over from the first Wolfenstein, A New Order, into the second, The New Colossus, she immediately makes you hate her after she brutally executes your leader, Caroline, in front of you by decapitating her. It's pretty gruesome. She's also incredibly cruel to her daughter, who she abuses and basically abandons, much to your luck since she ends up teaming up with you to take her mother down. Eventually the game leads you to stealing a powerful Nazi ship called the Ausmerzer, which results in a massive boss battle that doesn't even end with Engel. But fear not, she does meet her fate. After successfully hijacking the ship, you return to the ground where Engel is appearing on a nationally televised program. You sneak onto the set and execute her, and then proclaim the start of a revolution. It's a pretty great way for the game to end. Alright, there we have it, friends. Hope that didn't overly spoil these games for you, although there were some massive spoilers there. Which one of these baddies do you wish was the final boss? Let us know your thoughts and feels in those comments below. As always, if you dug this video, do us a favor and hit those like and subscribe buttons. Plus, if you'd like to see more great gaming vids, why not check out our playlist that's currently flashing on your screen right now. In the meantime, thanks for watching everybody. Catch you all in the next video.